Hey, welcome to Cooped Up Live. Shit, I say. It's my daily-ish broadcast where I just talk about whatever's on my mind, what's happened for the day, current events, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to switch that to that. There we go. While we're waiting on folks to join, coopedup.com is my website. You can visit that anytime. Also, wherever you are on social media, I'm Cooped Up as my handle in all the social places. Would love a follow, especially on the Instagrams. And wherever you watch or listen to this, it airs on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, as well as rebroadcast on all of the major podcasting platforms in audio format. You can click the bell, the subscribe button, whatever it's called. And play along, please. I love comments. There's about a 20-second delay between the time I say the words and you hear them. It's not really live, but I don't know why they're doing that, because it's not like anyone's censoring me. But whatever. Would love to have you play along and join the fun. So I will tell you my day. Hey, Mama, good to see you. My mom's always, for those of you who are new to the broadcast, my mom's always the first one to wave hi. Hey, Eric, how you doing? My day started up bright and early this morning. I went to bed oddly early last night. It was probably about 9:45. I was just beat and went to bed. And I woke up wide awake at 5:30 this morning. I was a little nervous, too, because we were expecting Mason's private school IC test. It's like the SAT for private schools. And actually, I think it's harder than the SAT. Any moment now. And so I woke up. And if you watched yesterday, you heard me talking about that I was checking it like I was waiting on the results of a pregnancy test. Today was no different. To start the day, I woke up at 5:30, went and grabbed my iPad, logged on to the portal to see if they'd posted the scores at 5:30. They had not. I checked again at 5:45. They had not. I checked again at 6 o'clock. They had not. But then at 6:15, I checked and they were there. And I let out such a loud gasp that I woke Todd up. He's like, what's going on? And then I told him, and as I'm telling him the scores, which I will tell you momentarily, I started crying, just full face, like crying. And I think it was a combination of pride for how well Mason had done and just sheer relief that that saga was over. A little recap: Mason took the same test back in November and did not do very well on it. There's 4 sections. He did okay on 3-ish of them, but on one of them it scored on a 1 to 9 scale and he made a 2. And 4 to 6 is considered like completely acceptable, and 8 or 7 to 9 is like exceptional, like super nerd of the world. Very few kids, 80% of the kids get between the 4 and the 6, and then like 10% on get below that and 10% get above it. So we were just gunning for 4s, 5s, and 6s is honestly what we were looking for. But he got a 2 in quantitative reasoning on this thing back in November. And so we signed him up for some like prep courses. They were working on it at school, all that kind of stuff. And it paid off, y'all. So like I said, I looked at it, shocked like that, woke Todd up. And the scores were he had taken the 2, and it was like a low 2. It was he'd gotten out of 100 on the scale. He had gotten an 8, which is terrible. And so he took that 2 all the way up to a high 6. So he was like 2 points shy of moving into 7 on that one topic. So I was so proud of him for that. And then the others one of them held steady. The mathematics one didn't change at all. He was like one little grade point, but not enough to change the stay 9. That the stay 9 is what you call the 1 through 9 ranking. And then on the other 2, he elevated both of those into 5s because he had gotten 2 4s before on that. And so we are super proud of him. We rushed in there, woke him up out of bed because I usually wake up at about 6:30, 6:45, and woke him up to tell him I'm still crying here. So who knows what he thought I was coming in for. And by the way, me crying in our house is nothing shocking. I cry when I'm happy. I cry when I'm sad. I cry when I'm frustrated. It's just, that's where everything leaks out of my eyes. And now that I'm in full menopause, like there's no turning back now. But anyway, and I probably cry multiple times a day, every day. Like I'm the John Boehner of wherever we are, Oak Cliff. So, but it was very, very good news for that. And he said, he was like, don't tell my teacher what I'd already, was like, okay, I was going to text her. And, well, actually, he didn't say, don't tell my teacher. He said, don't make a big deal of this at school, is what he said. And so about 20 minutes later, I texted his teacher and just let her know that the scores were in. They were very good. And I was going to email them later about them. And she emailed back, Mason's already emailed me. Yeah. I'm about to cry right now. I am ridiculous, y'all. I mean, I'm not ashamed of it at all, but just like, it just gets to me. So anyway, that was the highlight of the day. I think we're going to go out and celebrate. My sister, of course, was like, to celebrate, if he gets into a good school, you should go with us to Disney World in June. And that's her answer to everything. So my sister is hooked on Disney World like I am hooked on cheap white wine. I'm like, let's celebrate with some wine. Let's drown our sorrows with some wine. That's me. So thank you, Sam. Congrats, Mason. And Sam is saying, your iPad is not in bed with you. I have a very strict no screens in the bedroom policy. Sometimes the iPad does go in there because I'll be on it and then I'll get sleepy and set it down. But my cell phone stays in the closet. The iPad either is in the closet, kitchen counter, somewhere else. I just try not to, because I will never, ever be the person who wants to wake up and if I can't sleep, quote unquote, that I turn to my phone and look at it. So I think a lot of people say, I can't sleep, so I'm looking at my phone and I'm looking at but I can't sleep because I'm looking at my phone. So anyway, there was a Simon Sinek thing that I saw, and he was like, yeah, it's terrible. The blue light's terrible for you, all that kind of stuff. And just having it there. And also, I don't want it to be the first and last thing I see every day. But I do. So I just have an alarm clock actually in my room that tells the time. And technically, I have a Google Home screen that is set to look like an alarm clock, but I can still talk to it, like to ask about the weather or whatever, that sort of thing. But I just have that in there. And each of the kids have one of those as well. Because they're not allowed to have their screens in the bedroom either. They have to store their phones in the kitchen. So that is our thing. Mom is saying, Mason's girl. I know. Now, I'm not one of those people who is like, I want my kids to stay small. I don't want them to grow up. I actually am very excited about every next phase of their life for them. Like I am so excited to see what they're going to do next, who they're going to be next, what their family life is going to look like, when I'm going to be a grandfather. I mean, in my mind, I'm not planning any of this, but I'm just so excited about and have so much anticipation about all of it. So no pressure, kids. Jackie is saying, I turn on the orange light on my phone at 10. I swear it helps me wind down. My therapist recommended it. Yeah, I have that already set. Like mine automatically goes into that nighttime mode, I think at sundown or whatever. Like it just, there's a time that it just does that. So, but I agree that helps on my eyes. And I do have blue light glasses that I wear. If I am laying in bed looking at it, I try to wear my blue light glasses and it helps me a lot too. But yeah, Eric is saying the closed captioning is about half a sentence ahead of your words. Maybe that accounts for some of the delay. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I always find it, because it closed captions this, I always find it funny when I cuss. Fuck. Like, what does that say? Like the way they do it, it just cracks me up. On Instagram, I think it is, or is it TikTok? Instead of just it out, they write fug, F-U-G-G in the caption. That cracks me up. So talking about anticipation for like the great things our kids are going to do. Eric feels the same way about his nieces and nephews. I'm excited as they get each year older and see the new things they do in their lives. I know. Same here. So Anyway, and then the other thing, so that was like the highlight of my day. And then the thing that made me go, ugh, roll my eyes today is, and again, this is a redux of yesterday, is that Madonna announced earlier this afternoon at about 2 o'clock today, she announced that she's adding a second show to her Dallas, Houston, and Austin stops, as well as a couple of others, Seattle, some others like that, a second show. And if you watched yesterday, you heard me talk about this, but if you didn't, I'm going to recap it really quickly for you. I was wanting to get a suite, as I've done for many concerts now, and share the cost with friends. Just a great experience, more comfortable. It's not that much more expensive than a really good ticket, all that kind of stuff. Lizzo, the suite cost for 20 something, 22 people, it was about $6,500, $7,000 when you add catering and all that. Dua Lipa, it was like $4,000. Madonna, without the catering, without the food and beverage, was $29,000. And the tickets on the floor, some of them started at $7,000. And they're already starting to sell out. That's what's blowing my mind. Enough so that she has announced a second show. So I don't like her that much. I was only interested in going just because she's like a gay icon. I've never seen her before. I wanted to say I did, maybe on her last tour, all that kind of stuff. Be fun with friends to do, kind of a silly, campy thing to do. But not for that amount of money. And then I was reminded earlier today, my friend Blake reminded me earlier today that the last time she was in Dallas, she had 2 shows and she canceled the first one. And I don't believe that the people got to see her still. My understanding is canceled the first one and that it was not rescheduled so that you could go to the second one because the second one was also sold out. I could be wrong on that. This is kind of news-ish. Sometimes my facts are a little off, but Sam is saying, who are these gays buying these suites and how do I meet? You're looking for a man? Yes. That's probably a good place to go and sign up on the was it the Tinder or the Grinder or whatever and just see how close you are to the rich bitches or a bunch of poor ass bitches. Jackie is wondering if Britney came back, if she would do the same with cost. I know that is the thing. I feel like all concerts, that's another reason why I've started doing the suite is all concerts are so fucking expensive now that I'm going to fewer of them. I'm not a huge concert fan anyway, especially not in like regular seats. And I hate floor seats. I do not understand the appeal of floor seats at all. Luckily, I'm tall and I can see over people. And especially with people holding up their phones and blocking your view and all that kind of stuff. So I wish Madonna would ban phones at her concert. That I started to see some artists doing that. So she's 64. She'll be around a few more times. We'll get a $400 suite when she's 74. Yes, exactly. She's not gonna be rolling around and writhing on the stage out of like sexcapade. She's gonna be I've fallen and I can't get up on the stage. That's what Madonna's going to be. That Jitterbug is going to be the funder of the sponsor of her next big show. But yeah, that is crazy to me. Speaking of birthdays, not birthdays, but aged people. This one, Dolly Parton is 77 today. It is her birthday. Happy 77th birthday, Dolly Parton. I love her so much. She released a song today, and the song it's a really funny message. I've only listened to it once. I listened to it about 30 minutes ago, and it is a kind of silly, very Dolly song. It sounds straight out of like a 90s rom-com, back when she was doing like what was it, Dr. Shirley? What was it? What was that name of that movie? She was Dr. Shirley in it. It was called Straight Talk, that sort of thing. And this song came to her in a dream that she was dreaming that God was on a mountain looking down at the world. And he said, don't make me have to come down there. That's the name of the song. Don't make me have to come down there. And then there's, of course, a cheesy rhyme after that. It's all about kindness and wonderful. And so, I think one of my favorite recent songs of hers is the one that she wrote in the early days of the pandemic of When Life Gets Good Again. If you've not heard it, it's a gorgeous song. And why is that making me misty-eyed now? God, my hormones, y'all, are all over the place lately. Just, I don't know if it's the stress or if it's the anticipation or if it's my age or if it's the fucking 30 pounds that I lost. Like maybe my health is like, yay, drinking 6 of these a day. So maybe I'm overhydrated and I can't pee enough, so it's coming out of my eyes. I don't know. And I'm drinking wine again because Weight Watchers lets me drink wine. Octavia, I was not supposed to. So, hey, Brian, how are you? Good to see you. Eric is saying that Michael Bublé tickets were $400. I normally wouldn't pay that, but a friend wanted to go. Yeah, I was actually given free tickets to that, and we didn't go. Because Michael Bublé, to me, the idea of him is fun, and I like it. And I think the concert looked like it was a lot of fun. But I find his singing really boring for some reason. Like I like some of the songs, but I don't find like it doesn't feel to me like he is having fun singing his songs. And like live he does. Like when he's doing it live, like I've seen him on Ellen or Jimmy Fallon or anything like that. He does seem like he's having a good time. But on his albums, like the songs just sound like he's like forcing it. And so but yeah. So yeah, I lost 30 pounds, Brian, and I'm still working on 5 more. I want to get down to a little bit lower. I also want like a buffer because I'm hovering at like 199, 200 right now, and I'm wanting to get down to 195 so that if I have a little celebratory week or a vacation or whatever, that when I get back on track, that the first number still starts with a 1. I always joke that I could stand to do a push-up also because I got the chest of an 8-year-old girl. So, but there's that. Eric is saying the concert was good, but not Enrique Iglesias good. Oh my God. Enrique Iglesias, he was so fine. I've heard people that didn't like him and they like Ricky Martin better. And I actually thought it the opposite. I liked Enrique Iglesias and then Ricky Martin was okay. Ricky Martin just seemed overly rehearsed, and Enrique Iglesias seemed to actually like be in the moment and like sensual, you know. By the way, those exact same seats, Eric, that they had that we paid, what did we pay? Like $350? I think that's what we paid for them, something like that. For the Madonna concert were like $900. So that is just crazy, crazy. Jackie, you have not, I'm going to get to that in a moment. The pickleball thing. And that actually is the very next topic on my list. So last night, so you know, sometimes irony is a funny thing, and I don't know if I think irony is the right word for this. Last night on Facebook, I'd had a couple of drinks. You know, pot stirring is my cardio. God, if that burned pounds, I'd be fucking Kate Moss by now. But I was noticing a lot of older people, and I've noticed this often recently, but they were posting this thing about if you push on something and hold it down and copy it, which literally is just copying and pasting on your iPad or whatever, and then post it again, it allegedly changes the algorithm on Facebook. It doesn't. But it's a lot of old people are posting this, right? And so I made the post last night that tell us you're old without telling us you're old, and then I copied that status update, right? Well, snarky, you know, I'm kind of known for that. And then my original thing was going to be tell me you're ancient and don't know how social media works without telling me you're ancient and don't know how social media works. But I lightened it up. Sometimes I do filter myself and try to be a little kinder, but then I still go down later and go all in the comments. But we were just poking fun at old people. Yes. And honestly, you know, I'm not ageist in the sense that I'm not afraid of being older. I'm not ashamed of growing older. I actually tell people the age I'm going to be, not the age I am. Like I'm already saying I'll be 49 later this year. If you ask me, how old are you, Cooper? I'll be 49 later this year, leaving out the fact that I just turned 48 like 30 days ago. My great fear about growing older, though, and it's not even appearances. I mean, this is not going to age poorly, I promise. But nothing vain about that. God, I'm a piece of work. My fear is that I'm going to lose touch with how things work, how the world works, how technology works. And I'm already starting to see that. Like, I'm having to ask my children, like, what does this mean? And I've already learned, like, if I see initials and I don't know what they mean, I just go to like Urban Dictionary and Google it, or I just even go to Google and type in like blah 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 meaning and find out what it actually means. So, because I don't want to be one of those people who's going around saying, "Oh, this weekend I'm going to Netflix and chill." There's a lot of people, older people out there, who are saying that, not realizing that that means I'm going to turn on TV and have sex. Like, they did not realize that that's what that means. So, but the Sam is saying, until they block you on Grindr because you're older than 30, rude. Yeah, I don't know anything. I've never been on Grindr in my life. Todd and I have been together 25 years at this point. It'll be 25 years. No, 24 years next month. In February 28th will be 24 years that we have been together. So that like predates iPhones. That predates apps. That predates most of the internet. So, and we're not, to my knowledge, we do not have an open relationship. I don't have the energy for that, honestly. Like, it's not, if other people do it, I'm like, every relationship has its own rules. You do you, boo. But I just don't want that. It just introduces a lot of complication to our relationship. I'm not a jealous person. Todd is like very much not. Todd is almost offensively not a jealous person. Like, I'm like, you need to be fucking pissed off about that, Todd. Jealous as fuck. And he's not. He's like, it's fine. I trust you. I'm like, don't be such a good guy. I hate you. But that whole thing, it just seems, I mean, at this point in my life, sex is exercise. And, I don't like that very much. And I'm just not into it. If that's your thing, but I wouldn't even know what to do. I know the sound because I have friends who are on it, and I've seen the jokes about it and stuff, that or whatever it does. But Raven is saying Urban Dictionary is my friend. I know. My mother is saying I fell for the Netflix and chill. Is that what you're talking about? I assume that's what you're talking about. Eric is saying, if you're over 80, I give you a break if you post 10 posts of my posts in quick succession. Anyone else is a creeper. Yes. If you like a bunch of them in succession and you're older, it's charming. It's sweet. It means you love me. You're sending a message that you love me. So all of that. I'm not into Grindr or into sex. Aren't those the same thing? Don't you do one to get the other? Yeah, no. My mom fell for the copy and paste thing. That's what she's saying. Thank you. Let me erase that Netflix and chill thing from my mind, Mom. And here's the thing on that copy and paste and all of that thing that drives me insane, though. And this knows no bounds, like no age restriction on this. If you post something and someone in the comments or numerous people in the comments tell you it is wrong, it is incorrect, and even if they have sources or whatever, and you leave it up there, or even worse, you put under it, sorry, well, better safe than sorry, like that, and you still leave it up, that drives me insane. It is okay to delete posts. I do it all the time. Sometimes I'll post something and about an hour later, I feel a little remorseful for how hard it was. I promise you, if you go like on my personal Facebook, because I know some of y'all are watching it on my Cooped Up page here, and I'm also I accidentally broadcast this yesterday, also on my personal profile, which I did again today on purpose because so many people saw it and were into it. So I was like, okay, I'll just do that from now on too. But the edit history, that's probably a whole like inside Easter egg joke in itself. Because I go in, I edit every post probably 4 or 5 times over the course of the evening, because I'll think of a funnier way to say it, a sharper way, a more succinct way, or I see a typo because I'm really bad about that sometimes. Or sometimes I make it kinder. Sometimes it comes off as too dickish, and I like to poke fun. I like to be kind of mildly dickish, but I don't want to be like where I'm literally being a mean person. So, although this thing right here says, this was given to me by someone, I'm actually not funny. I'm just mean and people think I'm funny. And I keep it in front of Oprah so that she's looking over it and counteracts it with her good energy. But Eric is saying that Mark sent him notes in the mail when they were first dating. Oh my God, so romantic. But what else? Oh, Jackie, what you were talking about. So back to what I was saying. My ADHD pill is not working very well today. Making fun of old people last night. I kid you not, in the twist of irony, today, I get a confirmation that I'm taking a pickleball lesson next week. Next Thursday at noon, I have a pickleball lesson. I kid you not. And 20 minutes after that, I get a notification from Amazon that my first order of ginkgo biloba is arriving today. So, and here's the even more ironical. I know that's not a word, but it makes sense in this case. The next level irony of all of that is I don't even remember ordering the ginkgo biloba, and I know I did. I now remember that I was thinking about it because my vitamins that I take, we started off with like 3 vitamins. I'm now up to like 13 pills a night that I take for my health, of course. So yeah, I am. Jackie's saying some of those old people in pickleball kick my ass. I play almost every day. I'm excited about it. One of the things I like about it is that it is sort of like tennis, and I very much enjoy tennis, but you don't have to run. That's the part of tennis I am not into because I twist an ankle or I just get tired or whatever. And so I think I'm going to love it. The tennis, I live across the street from a tennis court, and occasionally people will put tape down and make it into a pickleball court. There's a new pickleball court in another park really close to my house. So that's where we're going to go do it. And Jackie, you'll have to come. Maybe some weekend we can meet up and play pickleball. I may bring Todd. I don't know if I haven't even told him yet. But the sound, it is so fucking noisy. That quack, quack, quack. Like it's really, really a noisy game, which is probably fun when you're into it. But if you live across the street from it and they're doing it at 7:00 in the morning, that's not very fun. So, is it indoors or outdoors like racquetball? It is outdoors. It is like tennis. You're basically playing with a really large like ping pong paddle and a ball that I think it has holes in it. And you're standing. It's like a tennis thing, but it's about half the size. No, it's about a quarter of the size, I think, of a tennis thing. I think they can put 4 of them or 3 of them on the same space as a regular tennis thing. And you can't leave a certain box. And so there's a lot of motion like this, but you don't run. And so you can let it bounce or you can just hit it. And a lot of people just go back, and it's very fast paced. It looks and sounds very fun. It's not like racquetball scares the shit out of me. Indoors with that ball flying around. You got to wear goggles because you might get killed. No, not doing that. Are you taking class with a private instructor? There's a lady here in the neighborhood who is trying to start she's an enthusiast, probably Cynthia is her name. She is an enthusiast, and there's not enough people around here, she thinks, to like have a league. And so she's trying to train as many of us. She has all the equipment, everything. She was like, just show up with a bottle of water and some tennis shoes. And so she's training all of us to learn to play pickleball so that we can have an Oak Cliff pickleball league. So it's free, bonus extra, right? It's like wiffle ball, 2 courts on a tennis court. You only have to stay in your box on the serve. Oh, well, you're already above my head on the rules on that. All the sports talk, you're losing me a bit. I understand. And I would hardly call pickleball hardcore sports, Eric. You have to check it out. So I need this game in my life. Brian is saying, yes, I'm worried and excited that I'm going to be very addicted to it. At least I have a hobby then, not just doing stand-up comedy here for y'all. And then, is your pullover an SMU? And yes, it is. I got this at the SMU store, and it's a Peter Millar, and it is beautiful, and it feels good. And I left the house this morning not wearing a pullover at all. It was a lot colder than I thought it was, and so I just grabbed this and put it on. I came back to the house and put it on. It was cold at my office even. So, and Raven is saying these. I think we're going down to Keast Park, actually, Raven, for our lessons, not Kid Springs Park. And then the last thing I had on my list, I'm going a little long, but the last thing I had on my list was, we were talking yesterday. This is a thing I posted last night, and someone, my friend Jen, who I appreciate her point of view on this. I'm not criticizing it at all, but I posted about Mason's phone being haunted. That he got a new phone. My kids just barely got cell phones for Christmas. We're wait till 8th grade and 13 for them to have their cell phones. And so they just got them, and Mason's phone number obviously was the phone number of a Trump-loving woman named Joyce, who was afraid of brown people and woke people. And because the text, the political stuff she's getting, the random, never a group text, but just random things from people that she's getting on there. So, and everyone's like, Joyce be dead. Especially with that name and those viewpoints. Yeah, she's probably dead. It was probably COVID. But I was like, how can I fuck with Mason about that his phone is haunted without him knowing it is me? And I then remembered that, and my friend Jen, by the way, I didn't finish that thought. She was like, just don't respond to a group text, because a lot of times people are in group text and they don't realize it, and you respond to it and it's from the dead person, and it actually hurts people's feelings. And I don't want to do that. So obviously I was wanting to do it from the point of view of playing with Mason. So, but then I remembered that I have a Google Fi, I think is the brand, phone that is still active. It's like $9 a month, but I use it as a hotspot when my AT&T hotspot does not work, because there's a lot when we're out in the RV and such. AT&T is wonderful if you stick to like a major interstate or a major city, but once you get off of that, it kind of goes downhill real fast. And Verizon was too expensive, but this Google Fi uses like T-Mobile's system, or maybe Verizon or someone, and a couple of others. And so it works a lot better. And so I use it as a hotspot, but it is a phone line. So I'm thinking, maybe I start texting them from that phone. Hey, Joyce, asking them like uncomfortable questions. But here's my last thought on this. What is the karmic repercussion, the karmic magic, the magic of the universe, let's put it that way, that the phone of a older Trump-loving woman who's afraid of brown people and woke people, and most likely gay people, her phone number ends up being assigned to a little Hispanic boy with 2 gay dads. Like, how crazy is that? And I proudly say that I'm woke. I think the opposite of woke is asleep, and that's terrible. Like, I want to be awakened. I want to be woke to other people's things. So anyway, Dan is saying, you look so svelte. Do you need a sandwich? I've lost over 30 pounds at this point, Dan. Thanks. But that is all I have today. Brave said, I love this for Joyce. Yeah, I know. This is the universe. This is Mama Oprah and Dolly Parton and the Dalai Lama and everybody coming together and saying, you know what? This is how we're going to heal the world. We're going to give all of the Trump-loving people, when they die, their phone numbers are going to go to little, slightly effeminate brown boys who have gay dads. Like, that is, who love drag queens too. Mason loves drag queens. RuPaul's Drag Race is a staple in our house. He's been to drag Christmas things, like by his own wishes. So was your son bothered by all of this? Is he okay? Well, yeah, he's fine. He thinks it's hilarious, and he keeps wanting to text back. And I'm like, girl, if you text back, they're going to know that your number is live. So I was like, you can text stop, like to the political ones, because he thinks it's funny because they're so ridiculous. They're like, indict Biden for his attacks on the sanctity of this, that, and everything is just so scary sounding, but in a comedic way if you're not of that mindset. Don't put us all in one bag. I'm just putting Joyce in a bag, because the ones that she's definitely afraid of brown people, or the people who are texting her are. She's like a Marjorie Taylor Greene follower. She's afraid of woke people. She's afraid of brown people, most likely afraid of gay people, afraid of everything, I think. And her name is Joyce. That means she's 80 plus if she's still alive, which she is probably not. God rest her soul. wherever she may be. So Eric's saying, I wonder if someone has my mom's cell phone. Luckily, she was pretty apolitical. I don't think she ever got any political text. My sister still has my dad's cell phone. It's still live. And my sister is very sweet. I'm not making fun of her with this. My sister still texts my dad when she thinks about him. My dad died in March after about 4 months of struggling with the ramifications of a series of strokes, which is also the reason I lost so much weight, because I'm an identical replica of my father. But he was 300 pounds though. But I was getting up there. And I just couldn't do that. So, but she texts him, and I think it's like the sweetest thing. And anyway, so I don't want to end on that because now I'm all misty-eyed. Y'all, don't make this like the 5th time today I cry. Anyway, alrighty. Well, actually, that is it. So let's see. I wonder if the sweets for Madonna that were going for $29,000 sold out. I bet they did. And I get the beauty of America. God bless America, I guess. So, alrighty. Oh, Mary, I can't see what you said, but I can see that you chimed in. Hope you're doing well. Mary, we're having a garage sale, by the way, next month. I need to cover that in a future episode. I hate garage sales. For some reason, Todd is obsessed with us having one every year, every few years. I think it's like, why? If I don't want this shit, why would I think that someone wants it if I put it in my driveway and charge you $1 for it? Like, it makes no sense to me. But here we are. So now we're starting to gather things throughout the house for that. So that'll be a topic for let me write that down, garage sale. I'll have to alert y'all to it too. Maybe and this will not be like Martha's tag sale in any way. This is going to be straight up old timey garage sale. So good to see you. Good to see you too, Brian. All right, I'm gonna say bye now. I love you. It's important to know you are loved. That is like the most important thing in the world. I love that you watch this. Thank you so much. This is good therapy for me every day to just get my thoughts out. I'm an external processor, as I always say. Take care of yourself. Don't should yourself to death. And I will see you tomorrow at 4:30 for another episode of Cooped Up Live. Should I say? Talk to you later. Bye. Bye.